It's been a few months since the defeat of Moro, with the Galactic Patrol taking the members of his crew off-world to be returned to the Galactic Prison. However, word has gotten out of 7-3's location, and his creator, Master Goichi, wants him back. He sent out a lot of his OG soldiers to take out the Galactic prison ships and return 7-3. The Galactic Patrol had no chance against the soldiers, and 7-3 was kidnapped by his own kind and returned back to his creator. He wasn't there for very long, however, as Granolah the Cerealian has been hired by the Heaters to take 7-3 for himself. Now, 7-3 doesn't want to be here either, and would like to be returned to his crew, and realizes that going with Granolah might be the best way back, as he recognizes Granolah as the Heaters' hitman. Granolah and 7-3 work together to trash Goichi's remaining OG models and leave his ship to go to the Heaters. Once they arrive, Leck congratulates Granolah for a job well done, and now 7-3 is theirs. Gas and the Heaters apprehend 7-3, with Gas destroying the crystal in his head, that way he can't utilize the powers of anybody like Moro. 7-3 is put under, with his memories being used by the Heaters to try and get intel they can sell out to others in the universe, with them learning more about the Galactic Patrol and on the remaining Saiyans that there are on Earth. Leck realizes that if he wants control over this universe, he's going to need to get those Saiyans out of the way, since they're the ones who killed Frieza, meaning they're the next highest power in the universe, though he doesn't have a way to easily defeat them. But once he lets slip to Granolah that there are Saiyans who are still alive, this reawakens Granolah's passion for revenge, as Saiyans are the ones who invaded his home planet. Just like in canon, Granolah takes Manito's Dragon Balls and wishes to be the strongest warrior in the universe. From here, things begin to play out like in canon, with the Heaters realizing Granolah's strength and sending Maki and Oil down to Earth to get the Saiyans and convince them to come up to Cereal so they can all take each other out. The arrangements are set for Goku and Vegeta to come up to Cereal as well, and the battle up there plays out mostly the same as it does in canon. The only reason I'm including a lot of the Granolah stuff now is to show that Goku and Vegeta still get their new transformations. In this series, Goku had never been able to achieve Mastered Ultra Instinct due to there not being a force strong enough that could push him to that level. Moro was too strong for him to handle, so wasn't able to get the form fast enough, but after fighting it out with Granolah for a bit, he's finally able to push his body past his limit and achieve Mastered Ultra Instinct. However, since he's not at all familiar with this power yet, he's not able to use it to its full capabilities like he could originally, so Granolah would probably take him down just as fast. Though, Vegeta is still able to achieve Ultra Ego to push him back as well, and the rest of the arc happens as normal until the very end. Gas is pushed to the edge with him basically in a skeletal form, still triumphing over our heroes. Without Frieza here to take him down, the others seem to be at a loss for what to do. Even with UI Goku, UI Vegeta, and Granolah working together, it seems that all hope is lost. Though, there is one more thing that Goku and Vegeta have up their sleeves, the technique that they used against Broly, fusion. Granolah is able to distract Gas long enough for the two to fuse into Gogeta once more. Now, Gogeta's power is great, though since Goku and Vegeta are already pretty worn down by the battle, Gogeta wouldn't be at full power himself, so he wouldn't be able to stack on something like Mastered Ultra Ego Instinct or something like that, but he still would be able to push himself into Super Saiyan Blue, which should be more than enough to take on Gas the way he is now, since, he's literally crumbling into a skeleton right before their eyes. Gogeta is able to successfully take out Gas and then turn his attention to the remaining Heaters. Leck tries to take the other two and run out of there, though Granolah stops them in their tracks, knocking all three of them out cold and tying them up so they can't escape. With the Heaters all defeated, they've won the day. Gogeta defuses back into Goku and Vegeta, with them making peace with Granolah and leaving back to Beerus' planet to resume their training. Granolah takes Leck and the others off the Galactic Patrol, with him freeing 7-3 from their captivity and sending him off out there into the universe, since he deserves a second chance. With the Granolah arc wrapped up there, now it's time to move on to the actual title character of this series, Leck. Leck has grown into a strong-looking teen. He's been keeping up his training with his father and the Cell Juniors on his island, though his mother has forced him back to school as well, since he needs to keep up with his studies. So, Leck flies over to the city and enrolls into Blue Hall High School with his friends Goten and Trunks. All of them have grown up into some pretty respectable teenagers, and have been making a bunch of friends at school. Leck is a really popular kid, with him getting into all kinds of sports to show off how perfect he is at everything, which kinda ticks Trunks off, since it seems he's trying to steal Mai's attention away from himself. But after two have a talk about it, Leck says that she's like older than his dad, so she has no interest in her at all. The three also want a little excitement in their lives, so decide to take a cue from Gohan and patrol around the city as the three new Great Saiyamen. Trunks dresses up as Saiyaman X1 with Goten as X2 and Leck as X3. Together, they go throughout the city, cleaning it up from evil. Leck made sure to create a suit that looks a lot cooler than the others, since he still wants to show off how perfect he is to everybody. One day, his friends from school, Scale, Rula, and Compass, ask if he wants to come and join them in investigating a haunted house, with Leck saying he'd love to, as he's never one to back down from a challenge. He asks Trunks and Goten if they'd like to come along as well, with Goten saying he'd be happy to, but Trunks says not to tell anybody else, but he's terrified of all the ghosts and hauntings and stuff. Leck asks him how he can be scared of the dead when he's literally seen his fathers be dead and come back before. And as Gotenks, they make literal ghosts. Trunks blushes and yells that that's different, and he runs away. Goten says that he's gonna try to go and calm him down, but the others can go have fun. Leck and his friends show up to investigate, with them discovering some devious plots going on. Apparently, there's an army of the dead reprogramming Capsule Corp's helper bots into doing their bidding. The dead find the kids and go after them, attempting to kill them all. Leck knows he can easily defeat these goons, but knows he can't show off how powerful he really is to the others, so he has to act weak not to reveal his true strengths. However, once Rula and the others start getting hurt, Leck knows that he can't just sit idly by. He has to do something. Thankfully, Goten and Trunks burst into the room as Saiyaman X1 and X2, telling the evildoers to stand down. With everybody distracted and looking at the two Saiyamen, Leck takes the opportunity to transform as well into X3 and join the Saiyamen in taking down the Walking Dead. The dead are defeated, with Scale, Rula, and Compass thanking the heroes for saving them. Rula looks around them though, wondering where Leck went, with Compass joking that his I'm perfect mentality is probably a ruse and he ran off scared. Leck is hurt by this remark and is about to take off his costume to show them who he really is, but Trunks stops him and distracts the others by saying that they should leave before the dead wake back up. Once the three leave, our heroes take their costumes off, with Leck sulking around saying that he'll show Compass one of these days. They investigate around on who these guys are, with them just finding a safe with a disc that says Dr. Gero Confidential on it. Goten and Trunks have no idea what that is, with Leck feeling a weird sense of dread while looking at it. He knows that he's heard the name Gero from somewhere before, but isn't quite sure from where. Though, by looking at this disc, he knows that whatever is on it can't be good. Trunks says that he'll analyze it at home, and that they should all go since this place freaks him out. The three all go their separate ways back home, with Leck feeling uneasy the whole way back. Once he sits down for dinner, he asks his father if he's ever heard of Dr. Gero. Android 17 almost chokes on his food when he's asked this, and once he manages to swallow, asks him where did he hear that name. Leck is even more concerned off of his father's reaction, and says he just saw a disc with his name on it somewhere. 17 stands up demanding to know where he saw it, and Leck backs off asking why it's such a big deal. 17 breathes out heavily, and tells Leck to come outside with him. As the two walk outside, 17 asks if he remembers when he told him that he was Cell's reincarnation. Leck says of course he does, and he thinks about it every day. 17 says, well, Cell was a creation of Dr. Gero, and Dr. Gero was also the one who turned him and 18 into what they are now. He kidnapped him and 18 as teenagers, and tortured them, turning them into androids and forcing them to do his bidding. He wanted revenge against Goku so bad that he forced them to have that same hatred as well, and he wasn't going to have that. Once he was finally free from the switch he created to shut them off, he killed Gero himself. That wasn't the last of it though, since Cell came along, another of Gero's creations. Gero is a very dangerous man, and a name he hoped he'd never have to hear again. So, if there's any trace of him or what he's created out there, he needs to know about it, so it can be stopped. Leck hugs his father, saying he's really sorry as he didn't know about all of that. He took down the guys who had the disc, and Trunks has it right now, so if he wants to know what's on it, then they can talk to him about it when he sees him next. 17 thanks him for letting him know, and that he needs to be careful out there from now on. He can't show off what he does to anybody now, since if there are other followers of Gero out there, they can't know he has anything to do with Cell. Leck tells him not to worry, as he's Saiyaman X3 for a reason. There's no way anybody can find out who he is. Dr. Hedo watches over the security cameras, watching as Leck transformed into the Saiyaman X3. He's marveled by these boys' abilities, and wonders if it's the suit that gives them their powers, or if it's just them. He sends out his Spy B robot to their Blue Hall High School, since Trunks accidentally left his pin behind during the raid. The B finds the three of them, and begins to follow them around, finding out that no, the suit isn't what gives them this power, it's just them. How could they be this strong? Dr. Hedo begins to research into these three, trying to find out how they're so powerful by sending in droves of his Walking Dead and the Capsule Corp helper bots out into the town to wreak havoc. It works, and the three Saiyaman X's arrive to take them out. This time, Trunks makes sure to leave a few conscious and try and ask them what their deal is, since they weren't able to make anything out of Gero's tape yet. The dead tell them that they'll never tell, and they are forcefully locked away by police officer Krillin. Eventually, after a lot of questioning, Dr. Hedo is found and arrested, though he doesn't remain in jail for long, as he is paid out by the president of Red Pharmaceuticals, Magenta. Magenta relays information to Hedo about the threat of Capsule Corp and how they may be sending in aliens to take over the planet slowly. Hedo agrees that this makes sense, and that must be why these three boys he's been studying for the past few months are so powerful. But there is one in particular who stood out to him. One boy who might not be an alien at all, but a machine. Magenta is curious, and once Hedo agrees to join his team since he wants to be a superhero, he shows Magenta the files he took on Leck. Magenta is in awe at seeing Android 17 having a child of his own, and how similar this child looks to Gero's late, great, perfect Cell. He may be a valuable asset in Magenta's plans for Gero's grandson, Hedo, to remake Cell, and use him to have the Red Ribbon Army take over the planet. If this boy is somehow Cell himself, then they need his DNA to make the new Cell Max as perfect as possible. Once Hedo has finished his Gamma creations, instead of them being sent after the Demon King Piccolo, they are first tasked in taking down this Cell clone. Leck is attacked, flying on his way to school by the Gammas, not being able to sense their presence. He erupts into his golden form to battle them, and to his surprise, they're actually very powerful. Not as powerful as him, but more powerful than most other opponents he's fought. He asks them who they are and what do they want with him, but he begins to feel weak. He loses his golden form and looks up to see that Gamma 1 injected him with a substance to put him to sleep. Leck curses as he passes out and begins to fall into the ocean, before Gamma 2 catches him. Gamma 2 radios into headquarters that Cell is in their possession, and they'll be on their way back. Leck is placed inside of a chamber in Hedo's lab, one that they can scan all of his biometrics and discover more of who he really is. His DNA is a near perfect match to Cell's, and Hedo realizes that this will be more than enough to help Cell Max be completed faster. However, Hedo really doesn't want to make Cell Max and isn't too keen on kidnapping this boy, but his life is in Magenta's hands, so he continues to keep Leck inside of his prison pod to use him to create the perfect Cell Max. And that's where we're going to be leaving this episode for right now. I really hope you guys enjoyed the diving back into the What If Cell Was Reincarnated series, as this one was always one of my favorite ones to write, and now I get to add some Dragon Ball Super superhero stuff in here, which is a lot more interesting for Leck as his past has come back to bite him. Want to see how the main events of Superhero play out in this series? Well, if this video hits 500 likes, then I'll be sure to continue it into another part. Before I go, I just want to give a huge thanks to all of my amazing patrons for their continued support. In the official patron tier, we have Nathan, BBB, Bossmaker, and Michelle Wilmez. In the Moving Up in the World tier, we have Patrick Sandelin, John Lister, Sin Shenron92, Oak Woodtree, Ogata Shiba, Monal, Blake Foyer, Matthew Garcia, Vegito Gaming 72, True Lightning Striker, Joseph Calvin Liu, Semroth, Dreadpool, and the boy Swaggy. In the VIP patron tier, we have Always Zero and 11726. And finally, in the God tier, we have Tails Homie 99 and Caleb Gotcha FNAF. Thank you, especially you two. You guys are absolute gods. And thank all of you so much for watching, and until we meet again, you guys. See you later!